Hail and welcome, all. I hope that you are having a good Wednesday. Welcome to an adventure. At least, I hope it's an adventure. I don't know. Um, how is everybody today? I think everything is set up and working properly. I don't really know. And we shall see. I tried to throw in a new treat. And hopefully it will work. I have no idea. Is law an adventure? Maybe. Do I want it to be? Maybe not. I get that. Let's see. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Matt M33. Lord Portico, it is, of course, good to have you here. Well, this is Archival Adventures. And after unexpectedly being out last week, the sci-fi story that was planned for last week has been rescheduled, and we will have it on the 11th, or sorry, on the 19th. And so we're just continuing the sequence, and I shifted things to have that happen then instead. But I have planned out and prepared all of the upcoming episodes through the end of 2025, which is good. And I have at least 2 where the topic is known for the beginning of next year. So yay, I'm not scrambling to keep up. Anyway, today, our adventure today will be a return to the Francis A. Murdoch journal. And of course, this is the diary of the Confederate teenage girl in Mississippi, from the Civil War era. Why didn't it work the first time? Weird. So if you want to peruse the finding aid, this is the page that it would take you to. But essentially, let's see. Fannie Murdoch was born in Mississippi around 1847. Her father, John Murdoch, had been born in Louisiana, attended Yale, and in 1840 married Frances Louisa Bristol, daughter of a New Haven, Connecticut family. They later resided at Cane Mount, their cotton plantation near Rodney, Mississippi. Fannie was one of 8 children, was schooled by private tutors at home with her siblings before briefly attending Professor Baird's school from December 1862 until April 1863. I have still, I mean, I haven't done a lot of searching recently, but I have never found any information on what this Professor Baird's school is. No clue. Can find no information on it. With more searching, I might, but anyway. And I love this. No further information about Fannie Murdoch could be found. That is false. Because I have found more, and I just need to update that that note with the additional information that I found. Anyway, we left off in Fannie's journal, I believe, just after the Battle of First Manassas, or the First Battle of Bull Run, depending on whether you were Union or Confederate. It had different names. Also, did you all see the image from that was the featured image on the opening screen. I can pull it up here if I just find it real quick like. Before we dive into the journal, since there are no pictures in the journal, I had to select something appropriate. And I feel like I came up with a good idea. So of course I want to share that, right? All right. Now, let me make that actually fit. Come on. Yeah, we'll see. I think I have gotten it. I don't normally have images to show on this view, but it has worked. This is the image, or, well, most of the image. We're going to fix that. I have no idea. I did a transform on it and it... Whatever. As you can see, image. These are... We're about to read entries from August of 1861. And I was like, I don't know what to put in as an image. Well, these are ladies' fashions from August of 1861. These are from Godey's Ladies Book, which if you've been watching since the beginning, or thereabouts, we did look at Godey's for 2 streams, I think either back in the first or second year of this show. And while Godey's was primarily a union publication, these would be women's fashions for August of 1861, and these would have been the type of clothes that our author would have been looking to wear. She was a teen on a plantation. She would have wanted to be fashionable. And would have probably had the funds to be able to get gowns like that. Anyway, I just thought that was a lovely little thing to add. Thankfully, I put a bookmark in because I was like, I don't know where we were. Let's see. All right, what do we got? I do not know which page we should be on, but we will try. We'll try. All right, 1861, July 26th, Friday. Okay, I think we're good to start here. I don't know if we're repeating a little bit, but whether or not we are, this should be okay. I rose this morning at 4:30 and studied for an hour and practiced almost an hour. After breakfast, I studied while Sally took her music lesson. I think we read this part before, but then Essie came to say her lessons. She has begun geography and arithmetic and writing, and has only been studying for 2 months and only knew her letters when Mr. Copeland first began with her. I knew all my lessons today. I knew all my lessons today very well. No papers today, so we had no more news from the seat of war. The seat of war. It's an interesting phrase. I don't know that I've encountered that phrase before. I mean, it's clear what it means, but it was just a phrase I wasn't familiar with. Okay. July 27th, Saturday. I got up this morning and practiced an hour, took my music lesson immediately after breakfast, and then was free for the rest of the day. Mr. Copeland began a little Is that Mr. or Mrs. Copeland? We're going to zoom in and find out. Oh, that's Mrs. Copeland. Yeah, Mrs. Copeland began a little Loire dress today. Is that Loure? Ah! It could be Louave. Congratulations, Madam 33. You've been randomly selected as VIP for the stream. I don't know what word this is. I'm gonna zoom in closer. The precious, you have the precious. The next word after it is... the next word after it is suit. It's definitely L. It looks like O. That is not an L. That is Zouave, which I wonder if that etymologically is similar to suave. Anyway, I have figured it out. Yay, learning. Zouave. A Zouave suit. The Zouaves, actually, Zouave. I tried to have it play, but I can't hear it, so hang on, let me.
Zouave.
Nope, still didn't hear it. Oh well. The Zouaves were a class of light infantry regiments of the French army and other units modeled on it. So, a Zouave suit would be something modeled after these clothes here. I swear I thought it was an L. Apparently that is a capital Z, which, if this were printed and not handwritten, it would look like a capital Z. But this is handwritten, and so it looked like a capital L. It's fine. We figured it out. Okay. Mrs. Copeland began a little Zouave suit today for Dora, who is very anxious to be a boy. Yeah, we read this part last time. It's fine, though. Cursive Z's are a bit strange. That is true. Because I remember reading about Dora wanting to be a boy. Let's see. Who's very anxious to be a boy, and Ma has at length consented to her having some boy clothes. I think they will be very pretty when completed. This morning, we were very much excited about Henry's getting in a... Nope. Anybody got ideas? Because to me, this looks like, let's see, where are we? Okay, the letters I'm seeing here. Possibly E or I, followed by N. This is an A. This is definitely a K-E. And then after the K-E, I see B-I-T. Which doesn't translate to any words I'm familiar with. Let's see. Nope, I got it. Haha. I had to get a pencil and start writing it without looking at it, which sometimes helps me to figure out what it is. Hi, Stephen Joyce. I have solved the word. I bet I figured it out last time too, but I didn't remember it because that was like 2 months ago. This morning, we were very much excited about Henry's getting snake bit. Ma made him drink a tumbler full of brandy, which made him a little tippy. We went riding this evening with Ellen Matson and Laura Maddox, Johnny, Sally, and I think that's Johnny. Jonni. So went out with friends. One of her brothers got snake bit. Now I consult once more with research I have done that is not reflected in the finding aid yet because I haven't had time. But I have researched a bit on her family tree, which hopefully might give me information on who the heck we're talking about, right? That said, I don't know if I actually have that information noted anywhere yet. No, that's my handwriting analysis. That's the partial transcript. Yeah, I'm not sure where I have those documents, so it's okay. Don't know who Henry was. Or I don't remember. July 28th, Sunday. Let's just move on. Another sweet Sabbath. I wish Sunday came twice a week instead of once a week. Mr. Hall preached a sermon of an hour. It was too much on politics. Sorry, that statement just feels like it would be entirely appropriate today as well. I consider it very wrong indeed to preach on such a subject. I think politics should be let alone in the pulpit. I consider it sacrilege. So she's very adamant. She has underlined it. She does not think politics belong in the church. This is a day which our government set aside for Thanksgiving to God for giving our great victory at Manassas. Yeah, we definitely read this part last time. Too much on politics is how I felt about my blue sky feed this morning. I haven't been reading much social media for like the last year, so Lord, with all our heart, we would thank thee. We believe thou art on our side because we know we are in the right. I taught the servants as usual tonight. I teach them by picking out 2 or 3 verses, or sometimes only one, and then spend half an hour explaining and illustrating those precious truths as something as possible. Minutely as possible. Her handwriting is a little challenging for me, but I'm doing okay, I think. July 29th, Monday. This is my last week. This is my last review day until after vacation, which is definitely review day until after vacation, which is, I think it says today week, meaning like today's Wednesday, so it would be Wednesday of next week. I think that's what it says. Either that, or it could say Friday. It's hard to tell. No, it is Friday. So because she starts with that line, and then there's the middle line, and then we've got we don't really have an I. That's the problem. We get the F, the R, the D, the A, and the Y. Anyway, which is Friday week. I went driving I went driving in the something and town. Something and town this evening and took Nellie with me. I don't know what word that is. Anybody got thoughts? I am more than willing to take guesses when I get stuck. Also, come on, Zoom button. I'm gonna go and see if this is a word I had looked at previously, because I did try to do some transcription ahead of time. I just have not done all of it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where are we? We're on July 28th. I did not get this far. So I do not know what that word is. I went driving in the... It looks like it would be a type of carriage or wagon. Well, let's find out. That's a good guess. Looks... So, contemporary ones that I'm seeing are Conestoga wagons. I'm trying. Uh, let's see. Wagons of the American Civil War. Let's see if this gets me anything. I'll share if I do find something, but I don't know. Oh, this is all focused on military wagons. That doesn't really help. Also called a prairie wagon, white top, or prairie schooner. I don't think that would have been what she would have been using to just ride into town. It's not a phaeton, which is definitely contemporary for that. I found a page called Glossary of Carriages. No idea. Whatever. If anybody does figure out what that word is, feel free to share. I think it might actually be one word. Got it. I just figured it out. I went driving in the Germantown this evening and took Nellie with me. Germantown. Germantown. That was difficult to figure out. But I got there in the end. Oy, 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 oy. July 30th. Sunday. Cane Mount, which is the name of the plantation. Today we have good news from the north, who give up for the first time, that they are entirely beaten at Manassas. The victory has been grand. I need to zoom in closer because I can't really read this. So I'll just have to shift the pages around a little bit more than normal. The victory has been grand. God alone could have given us such a glorious one. The whole world will be astonished at it. The report today is that there will be no fighting. There will be no fighting now for today. Sometimes handwriting really is like a puzzle game. Yes, it is, Stephen Joyce. And when I actually managed, like, I've been staring at it for minutes on end and trying every which way to figure out what it says, and it clicks, I get the same sense of enjoyment that I would get in solving a puzzle in a puzzle game. Also, Stephen Joyce, thank you so much for the resubscription of 52 months. I just saw that notification. Okay, ooh, that is not mine. Mr. Matson says he thinks there will be peace made if they hold off. Sadly, that prediction does not come true, and the war rages for another 4 years. The greatest... I'm pretty sure that's anxiety. The greatest anxiety and excitement. Yeah, she's just not crossing the X's. Ah. One live, our property, our homes depend on the issue of this war. I don't think that's right. I think it's the live, our property, our homes depend on the issue of this war. I think it's lives, logically, but anyway, I'm not sure. If we are defeated, we are lost. Oh! We got an O! It worked! Oh, no one but the Almighty knows what we have yet to go through with. If we had been told a year ago about all this, we would never have believed it. I'm so happy it worked. I literally threw that in here like right before stream. It took me forever to take her handwriting and turn it into that graphic. I am affected to live in such times. The greatest curse of all, may you live in interesting times. If Ma would give me leave I would learn immediately how to dress wounds and attend to the sick, and would go on to the hospital in Virginia if I could get an older friend to go with me, because of course she's only 14. This is what I desire above all things. People laugh, but this I cannot help. I would go in 1 minute. I consider it a duty. General, as he is sometimes called, and President Davis is a fine man, and all the South can or seem okay. General, as he is sometimes called, and President Davis is a fine man, and all the South seem perfectly well satisfied with all that he does. We must conquer. If we fail, it will be our complete ruin. So she's definitely got some awareness of the politics that are happening. She's definitely believing the things that would have been the positions espoused in the South, which is not surprising. She's 14. The only reason it would be surprising is that her family had ties to the North and had spent quite a bit of time in the North. Like, her mother is from the North, and her father went to school in the North. And so, a perfect example of why it was referred to as the war of brother against brother. Because literally families were torn apart by geography, by political leanings, and literally brothers fought each other because one was fighting for the Union and one for the Confederacy. Like, it... Yeah. July 31st, Wednesday. Aunt Ellen came down early this morning while we were at breakfast. Nora and cousin someone. John. Nora and cousin John accompanied her. We are so glad she has brought Nellie down, as the poor little child has not left home for a year. I am quite confused by that statement, because didn't she... Unless this is a different Nellie. She just 3 days before said she took Nellie with her driving in Germantown. And here she's saying, maybe it's not Nellie. I don't think it's the same. It was Nellie on the 28th. I think this is Nollie. N-O-L-I-E. Ooh, hello, 16-Bit Eric. It's good to see you. How was your stream? What happened to the Legend of Zelda? It is good to have you here. Welcome in, Whimsies. We are reading the diary of a 14-year-old girl from Mississippi from 1861. So the early part of the American Civil War. And yeah, we're reading her diary. Despite the fact that, like, the first thing written in it is, "Open not this book, my friend." Anyway, welcome in, Raiders. It is good to have you here. If anybody here is not already following 16-Bit Eric, press the button, follow 16-Bit Eric. And if anybody here is new, hi, I am Rogan, aka Anthony Wright Day Hernandez. I'm the Community Collections Archivist at Virginia Tech. And once a week, we dive into our collections and see what we can learn. So, hi, Castabras. So, yeah, her handwriting is just a teeny bit difficult for me, so it's a little halting. Like, I was just getting caught on, I read this as Nellie, but it's not Nellie. It could be Molly. It could be Nollie. N-O. I'm uncertain on the capital letter. This is an O, I'm fairly sure. L. This is an I. It's got a dot and then E. Whoever it is, they haven't left home for a year. And are referred to as the poor little child. I might need to do some genealogical research to figure out what that name is, because this is Nora and cousin John coming with Aunt Ellen, and they brought Nolly with them. Okay. She seems delighted to be down here. But her mother says, oh, it's an M. There's the answer. Because those letters are the same. So it's Molly. It's just spelled with one L here. But her mother says she will not allow her to come in August. Kate Ellett, Blanche, and Pete are coming down in the middle of August to spend 2 weeks. Sally and I expect to go up Monday to stay some time. Mrs. Matson gives a party tonight, which is corrected to tomorrow. That's an interesting way to do the correction. She's changing tonight to tomorrow night. So she does the little caret for the insertion, but she points it after the T-O and writes morrow above to make it into tomorrow night. Mrs. Matson gives a party tomorrow night, but none of us will go, of course. I don't know why, of course. August 1st, 1861. Thursday. A bright, pleasant sky. The news today is that we have taken 20,000 stand of arms, also 120 pieces of artillery. First report said that 61 I have no idea. It just ends. 1861. Oh. First report. Oh. Wow. I got it. A bright, pleasant day. The news today is that we have taken 20,000 stand of arms, also 120 pieces of artillery. First report said but 61. The soldiers do not seem to think this war will last long. None do if our army carry all before them as they have done in the 3 previous battles. Of course, this being August 1st of 1861, we know there are 4 more years of war. But this is... So, earlier, like, last year and this year, we were reading the Chief Engineer's Journal for the USS Dakota, which was a Union ship. And the Union soldiers also thought that the war would be over within just a couple of months. At this point in time, we're getting the Confederate perspective. Both sides thought that the war would be over soon. It had just started, and both sides apparently thought that it was going to end soon. And it lasted another 4 years. Yeah. August 2, Friday. Mrs. Matson was disappointed in her party last night. So it takes place tonight. We has consent to something going. No, I got it. Okay. We has consent to Johnny's going. Miller goes over to Inros something this evening. So maybe to go. It's a place name. I have no idea what it is. The best I can make out right now is capital I, NROSSIT. But I know that's not it. She tends to leave the last letter off, so it's probably ITH. Oh yeah. We are about to be attacked with an advertac. So I'll put us to the Be Right Back screen. I will stare at these letters a little bit longer, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hi. Yeah, no, sorry, Lord Portico, I didn't see your note. Hi. Yeah, I still haven't figured out what that word is. I don't know why the, microphone did not come back on. Anyway, so I haven't been able to figure out the word. I've been trying to consult, maps of the area. Like here, this is a modern map. Cane Mount is here. That's where the plantation was located. But I don't see any words here that would match. And the actual maps of the area, it says it's in Jefferson County, but it's actually in, what is this, Sherburne County? I'm not certain. But either way, like, the maps from the period that I can find don't have enough detail. It's Claiborne County. So like here, the plantation's actually up here in Claiborne. Like Russum is one of the only double S's I'm seeing, but it doesn't match otherwise. Lorman, Gillam's Landing. Yeah, I don't know what this word is. But we can move on. We know it's a location. And the best I can get, I even tried my little handwriting trick and it didn't work. The best I've got is INROSSITH. But Inroseth does not seem to be a thing. So, no idea. But they went somewhere. Or Millie goes over to this evening, so maybe to go. It's also possible that that is the name of the Matson's plantation, in which case it might not show up on maps because the plantations aren't always listed on these types of maps that I was able to find. Anywho, August 3rd, Saturday, Sally, Johnny, and I got up this morning to go riding this morning into, or sorry, blah, blah. Sally, Johnny, and I got up this morning to go riding this morning with the Matsons, Watts, and This is definitely PR. No. It's PASSED. But what is the beginning of the word? Oh, no, I got it. Whew. Thank you. Okay, let me try this sentence again. Sally, Johnny, and I got up this morning to go riding this morning with the Matsons, Watts, and Snodgrasses. We expected to have a glorious ride with them. We were all ready and sailed around the house, all ready to start when Ma, who was just up, heard we were going. We, not having told her, as we only heard of it an hour before we started, Ma called S down to her and told her we could not go as the sun was entirely too hot at the was entirely too hot at 7 o'clock. Whew. Sometimes these are just really hard to make out. We are terribly disappointed, but did not say anything. I, especially, as usual, was dreadfully put out. But God enabled me to give up thinking my mother knows best. Johnny had a fun time at the party and was much struck with a Miss Brown. You can't go riding. It's entirely too hot at 7 o'clock. August 8th, Thursday. This one is written in Port Gibson, wherever that is. The last time I was here, it was a sad visit. The angel of death was in our midst, and with his cold, relentless grasp, snatched one of our dearest away. Friends stood round, some in silent grief, others allowed their sorrow to burst forth. None could say, "What dost thou?" We could only hear the answer, "Be still." Port Gibson is in Claiborne County. That sad day left a widow and 6 children with nothing to live on except what they could raise on their small place. The mouse. Apparently the name of their place was the Mouse. Okay. Uh, there was a Civil War battle in Port Gibson? When? I'm assuming after this. Such scenes we went through, but how were we prepared for the great and almost unbearable sorrow that awaited us? We got a telegraph about a week after this from Pa saying the winter of Minnesota proving too much for his poor, feeble frame to bear, he had concluded to come home. A thrill of joy passed through my young and impulsive heart. It was joyful. It was joyful terror to me. May 1st, 1863. So like a little around two years-ish after this. But, oh! There we go. My mother knew too well what it all meant. Look at this telegraph. Every time I read it, it makes me laugh. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't blame him. It is cold in Minnesota. He came accompanied by Millie and Charles. I think it's Millie. I'm not certain. He came accompanied by Millie and Charles. They all looked delighted to be at home again. Yep, Millie having been away for 4 years. Pa, just about 1 year. Pa looked dreadfully, but we deceived ourselves by thinking it was only that the long journey, and he would be over it, and again we would be a united, happy family. Vain were such thoughts. The next morning I had a very severe headache, but would not go to bed for some hours, hoping I would get over it soon. But I has obliged to go to bed soon. I went to bed not to rise. I went to bed not to rise until a most trying Wow. I went to bed not to rise until a most trying show ever passed through me over. Or was over. I'm uncertain about show. It looks like the way she writes her S's sometimes. So this could be show, but it also could be I have. I went to bed not to rise until it most trying I have ever passed through was over. Possibly. On Thursday or Wednesday, Pa was taken with a choking, which was to suffocate him for about half an hour. All windows were thrown open, though it was a bitter cold day. Ma thought he would die in that. Before. That day, the doctor came and told he could do nothing for him. It was the last symptoms of consumption. She's used this a few times, and it looks sort of like the word it. It looks sort of like a printed capital A, but it shows up, every time it shows up, the word the would be the modern phrasing. I think it is the word it, though. That day the doctor came and told he could do nothing for him. It was its last symptoms of consumption, which doesn't make sense, but I don't see how that could be. I don't see how it could be the word the, but anyway. Oh my God! We got an OMG! Sadly, I don't have a graphic for OMG, but we'll count the O. Oh my God, something told me that I was real sick. But I turned over in my bed and yes, there's an OMG. Yes, tuberculosis. Okay, I'm zooming in. Okay. We got the oh my God. When they told me that, I was real sick. But I turned over in my bed. And my very soul witness seemed to burst with grief. Within. Oh, this is spatula. It's not actually intended for reading and pointing, but it works really well for it. But it can be used for various things. It often gets used as a gentle staple remover. Yeah. It's just one of the many tools. It has a point on this end and a blunt end on that end. It's just a relatively versatile tool. But yeah, it's called a spatula. Okay. Oh my god. When they told me that, I was real sick. But I turned over in my bed, and my very soul within seemed to hurt with grief. Tiny pancakes, right. These two words, my very, are identical. The way they are written is identical, but the first one is my, and the second one is very. Really freaking difficult to read that. Oh! I thought. Must we... Oh! Must we give him... must we... Yeah, give him... Can nothing be done? Yeah, must we give him, like, over to the Lord? Must we give him, can nothing be done? Dear Papa... He continued to go hoarse. One day, while talking with Aunt Jane about dying, he said, Jesus Christ is a rock in a Maryland? I don't understand, but that is what it says. Jesus Christ is a rock in a merry land. Oh, him, he fixed his hopes and clung to him alone for salvation. Friday morning came. Oh! Fatal day that took our brightest hopes away. Suddenly, another of it breathing fits came on him, and they knew it was it last. That is definitely not the word it. But I don't know what it is. It seems like some sort of shorthand symbol for the word the. But I'm not familiar with any symbols for the word the. It could be weary. Rock in a Weary Land is from A Christmas Hymn. That's probably what it is then. And I just was not familiar with that. Yeah, Jesus Christ is a rock in a weary land. Would fit with her handwriting. I'm curious about this symbol though. Oh, Christian. Okay. I'm looking to see if there's a symbol for the word the. And I'm not finding one. If anybody knows what this freaking symbol is, I mean, it has to be the. I just have never seen it. Looks sort of like a capital A in print handwriting or print writing. Like, we have the ampersand that means and I'm familiar with that, but I've never seen this before. The hymn it's from is A Shelter in the Time of Storm, and was written by Vernon J. Charlesworth circa 1880. Maybe it was a common phrase in the church prior to that. That's possible. Well, I have no idea. Also, why would you abbreviate the word the? I'm not finding anything, but I'm certain that at least she is using that as a shorthand for the word the. The letter thorn. It's not really the right shape to be a thorn, though. It's possible. Oh my god, no, it is just her handwriting. It is literally just her handwriting, and I have been... Okay, I'm gonna show you. So this is the shape, right here. If it had a dot over this first line, it would be the word it, which she has done. This way, though, it is T-H-E. Literally, T-H-E. I lost it. Okay. So the down line for the T is this first down line. And then it goes up and down again for the H. But she doesn't do the little bump. And she doesn't complete the E with the loop. And when she crosses it, it only goes across the part of the H. But that is literally her handwriting, and that is 3 letters, T-H-E. It's not uncommon for handwriting for the cross that goes across the T to not actually cross the line at all. Sometimes it'll float. If it's a T that doesn't have another tall letter next to it. Sometimes it's like this, where another tall letter is next to it and that letter gets crossed instead of the T. Like, that's common. It's just the fact that that's 3 letters and it looks like 1 letter or possibly 2 letters, because she tends to drop the last letter, and because she doesn't start the T, the cross is actually on the H, and the H doesn't have a bump. But it is literally the word the, and she's been writing it that way for a couple pages now. Anyway. Holy mackerel, that is difficult. It's also fun. Where was I? Okay. They knew it was his last. All were called in to see him. I was too sick to go. He struggled for some time. At last, he raised himself up and tried to say farewell. Then, with one long last wave of the hand, he fell back and gasped for one more breath and died. Oh, of all the griefs I have ever felt, this was the most overwhelming. After death, Ma says the sweetest smile came over his darling face, and we knew that all was well. My God, my God! Is he gone? They buried him in the silent grave. And they all returned to our silent, lonely home. But the 8 had gone. Oh, but the light had gone out. Okay. The location here looks like Amaro. A-M-A-R-O-E, but I'm uncertain about the capital letter because who knows with her capital letters. August 11th, Sunday. What a sweet and precious day this is to me. One which is not only to worship Almighty God in, but on this holy day, we are to examine ourselves. Oh, how much sin and pollution I freed in my poor, weak I find in my poor, weak, sinful frame. Oh, my God, this load of sin bears me down. It is so great. I so often pray with my whole heart and strive myself for days to govern my temper and to lead such a life as will please thee, and to imitate in some degree the life of my dear Savior. But alas, how I have failed! Lord, my heart is so sinful, so desperately wicked. No human being knows how sinful it is. None know but my Savior and myself the struggles that go on there. Sometimes I almost feel like giving it all up and rushing into all kinds of sin. In such periods, nothing would stop me, and not even fear of hell. But there is one feeling, and one only, which prevents me from rushing into such an alternative, and this is the great love of Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Oh, when I think of this great, unbounded, incomprehensible, unbounded, incomprehensible, unheard of love, I am lost in wonder. Teen angst does not disappoint. Exactly. Oh, how I love thee. Wow. That took me a minute, and I had to look directly at the page on the screen. I wasn't getting it. How I love the beautiful hymn. Oh, I could speak the matchless worth. Oh, I sound the glories forth, which in my Savior shine. I'd soar and touch the heavenly strings and vie with Gabriel while he sings. In notes almost divine. I'm guessing those are the lyrics of the hymn that she says that she loves. Oh, I could speak the matchless worth. Oh, I could sound the glories forth, which in my Savior shine. I'd soar and touch the heavenly strings and vie with Gabriel while he sings in notes almost divine. It's not one that I know. Then again, I don't really know that many of them. But that is where we're gonna leave the journal for this month. I will attempt to actually do some of the puzzling over her handwriting in advance before the next time we look at this. Just because it flows a little smoother if I've already dug into it and can refer to that in reading it. Because, boy, this was a little difficult. We're up to 41 O's, though, in the journal. The total is 41, as you can see there. And we will continue the running tally of how many times O shows up in this journal. Oh. I have not updated the captions to remove Archivist Kira, but that's okay. Jade Kitten, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you to my mods, Hannah and Lord Portico. Thank you, Stephen Joyce, for the resubscription. 16-Bit Eric, thank you for the raid. And of course, we have been listening to Lo-Fi Girl. Coming up next Wednesday, we have part 4 of the James Dean collection. If you recall, James Dean was, he basically was the illustration department for NASA when it became NASA. He was an illustrator for NACA, the precursor to NASA, and then basically founded the NASA art department and went on to be the art director of the Air and Space Museum. And we've looked at a couple things using his collection. This time, next week, we will look at Skylab, the International Space Station, and space shuttles, using materials from the James Dean collection. And then after that will be The Lotus Eaters by Stanley Weinbaum. And then we'll be off for a week because we will be closed for the US Thanksgiving. And when we come back in December, it'll be part 4 of The Diary. And then just, I'll let you know, after that it'll be Alas All Thinking by Harry Bates. And the final one of the year will be on December 17th, A Universe of Sky and Snow. Is the title of that episode. So, theorize all you want as to what that will be. I'm gonna see where we're gonna raid. Hopefully it was okay watching with all my stumbling over the actual words. It's fun to do, but sometimes it's like, how engaging will this be to watch since I keep stumbling? Yeah, we're gonna raid Stephen Joyce just because Stephen shows up here and watches the stream, and Stephen has a wonderful stream of his own and a wonderful community, and wears tiny hats. And so we'll be popping on over there. I do encourage you to join, and it is a good time. If you don't follow Stephen, you should. But we'll pop on over there, and I will look to engage with all of you next week. I have 2 streams that I have to set up the raid in. All right. Thank you all so very much for joining me today. Hopefully I will see all of you again soon. Until I do, keep exploring history, everyone.